Hey, and welcome back to the LotusRiche Ignite Show. I am super happy to have you here today. So come on in and get in where you fit in, because I've always got room right around my table for you, your friends, and your frenemies. So go ahead, like, share, start a watch party, run and tell somebody that LotusRiche Ignites is hot on the box. I'm going to encourage you, grab your notebook and grab your pen, because I always say note takers are money makers and note takers are change makers. Come on in and get in where you're fitting. That's right. I'm not in the studio tonight, but guess what? I am on somebody's sofa. One of my loved ones. I can't tell you who. You might want to come over and eat up some of her good food. But anyway, thank you for being here. Welcome to the LotusRiche Ignite Show. Sitting in the living room, chilling. Why? Because no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you can be the best you that you can possibly be. And guess what? Tonight, I've got two phenomenal guests. Count them, 1 and 2. Put them together. What do you make? Pow! 2 people. I've got the amazing Brenda Ringwood all the way from Kansas. She is here with me tonight, and she bought some secret sauce tonight. His name is Dean Stroher, and you want to hear his story. He's got a phenomenal story. And if you were ever in a situation where you lost hope, where nobody believed in you, where you thought you couldn't make it, well, guess what? Tonight is your night. So you need to stay tuned, because we've got a great show for you. And so, as I always say, while you coming in, come on, get in where you fit in. Come on in, because I've always got room right around my table for you. So with no further ado, we're going to play that intro again, and I'm bringing to the stage to meet you, Miss Brenda Ringwood. Go ahead, tell a friend. Come on in. Hey, and welcome back to the LotusRiche Ignite Show. I am super happy to have you here today. So come on in and get in where you fit in, because I've always got room right around my table for you, your friends, and your frenemies. So go ahead, like, share, start a watch party, run and tell somebody that LotusRiche Ignites is hot on the box. I'm going to encourage you, grab your notebook and grab your pen, because I always say note takers are money makers and note takers are change makers. Your friends and even your frenemies. Hey. What can I say? I got Brenda Ringwood all the way from Kansas here with me tonight. Hello, Brenda. How you doing?
Hello. I am just wonderful. Just terrific. Woo. Thank you for having me. And I got to say that you are inspiring. And it's just an honor to be here with you.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you here. I got to tell you, Brenda, when I came down for the wonderful event that Dr. Michael J. Freeland had, mental real estate, it was explosive. And I finally got to meet you in person. And then I had some time to see you after that and talk about your upcoming event. So I'm happy that you're here. We're going to give some folks some secret sauce. But before we go any further, many people all around the world know, because you just did something in Africa, you were at the event in Kansas, and you're doing stuff all around the world.
Mhm.
Many people know you as a speaker. Many people know you as a motivator, as someone who encourages others. And many people may even know you as an author. Coming up soon
That's
at
right.
the store near you, right?
That's
But
right.
tell us a little bit more about yourself. And then after you tell us more about yourself, I want to give out some secret sauce, because we have someone named Dean on the scene with us tonight. So please, let's share a little bit more about you and who you are with our viewers. Go ahead.
Well, I like to say that I am a changed person because I was in a very horrible spot in my life, in my career. I thought I was stuck, thought I couldn't do anything to change up what I was doing, made some really bad decisions, and it put me in a jail cell, to be honest with you. But that was the best thing for me because I was able to change from the inside out. I was able to evaluate where I was, why I was there, why I was acting the way I was acting, and why I needed to change. And when you realize your faults and you see the areas that you can improve in, that's powerful stuff, because now you can grow and you can put the past behind you because you've now learned from it and you can move on from it. And that's what I've done. And I have basically followed my goals in life and my dreams to do this. I've wanted to always write a book. Now I have written 4, and the first one is out. Got one at the publishers, got another one in edit, and I'm currently writing one as well that's going to be out probably in February. Then I've always liked to help others and to inspire them and to walk them through how they can truly change their life. But I couldn't do it because I wasn't a good example. So I had to first change myself and not just do it overnight. It took many, many years. And in that transformation, I healed. And through that healing, now I can also help others through that, through my story. And I don't say that success is about money or cars or the house you live in. I say success is about happiness. It's about you doing what you want to do in life. Because if you do what you love, then you're not really going to work. You're doing what you love. And that's happiness. I also like to tell people, who's ruling your kingdom? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it insecurities? What is it that's ruling your life? Let it go. You need to be the one to rule your kingdom. You need to be the one to say, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is when I'm going to do it. And when you do that and you focus on what your purpose is and what your true talent is, now you're talking. Now you're starting to capture your kingdom again. And you're starting to focus on you and your purpose. And you're going to focus on happiness. It's going to be good for your family. It's going to be good for your soul. So that's just a little bit about me.
Y'all see, I put her in a hot seat. She jumped out quick, didn't she? She jumped out quick. So we got folks streaming in already from all over the country. I see you out there. So when you come in, please let us know where you're coming in from and give us some L's when you come in. Let's give her some love. Let's give Brenda some love, because right now, Brenda is getting ready to introduce to some and present to many all around the world our next guest. Are you ready, Brenda?
I am
Are
ready.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Are
Bring
you
it on.
ready?
I am ready.
Let's hear it for this amazing man.
This
He's been
man,
through hardships. Even people called him stupid, and he might have thought he was stupid. But this man, what did he do, Brenda?
he changed. He changed his mindset and he saw himself as a winner. He took himself from what other people were thinking about him and he
Yes.
turned himself into what he knew he could be. This guy graduated high school, but at a very poor reading level. And he became an author. He taught himself how to read, how to communicate better. Now he's a coach and he teaches other people how to reach their goals. And he's going to be speaking at an event that I'm doing called Becoming the Best You Can Be, Overcoming Challenges. It's virtual in November, in person in February in the Overland Park, Kansas area. He's going to be at both of them. You can come and meet him virtually or in person. His name is Dean Storer. You got to listen to what he's got to say.
I want you all around the world to put a D and put an S in the comment and welcome our amazing speaker. He is going to light up the Ignite stage tonight. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Dean Storer. Woo!
Thank you so much for that. That was awesome.
Thank you, Dean. I'm so happy to have you on the show. I had to flash them with the secret sizzling sauce because nobody knew that you were going to come on here and play your harmonica. I didn't let the cat out of the bag. And so before we leave the show tonight, yes, I'm going to ask him to do it again. But before I ask him to do it again, Dean, our amazing Miss Brenda already told folks a little bit about you, but can you tell folks a lot more about you? I've heard your story. You have a phenomenal story. You've come a long way. And not only have you changed your life because you changed your mind and you changed your behavior, you changed your heart. You're changing lives for people all around the world. And so please take this time to tell people a bit more about you.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I grew up on the south side of Seattle, and I was born in 1955. And so by the time I was 15, 16 years old, I realized that, the kids making fun of me, and I was kind of a heavy-set kid, and I was considered stupid, a troublemaker, and I kind of, as I got older, I kind of really lived up to the name of troublemaker and riding motorcycles and in and out of courts, in and out of jail. And I didn't think I could change. I thought that's the way it was. And so, I got heavy into drugs and alcohol. And, it was just one of those things that I didn't think I was worth anything. So I might as well just, waste my life on doing the things that all my friends were doing too. And one of the things that I realized that when I graduated from high school, I had about a third grade education. And when I graduated, I mean, that's just the way it was. I mean, I slipped through the cracks. And so I just kind of was traveling a lot. I was a hippie back in the 60s and 70s. And so as I traveled a lot, I ran. It wasn't so much traveling as I ran away from my problems, because I was trying to run away from my problems, but I was right here. How do you run away from you? You can't run away from you.
Ooh.
And so as I tried to run away from myself, I realized that I couldn't get anywhere. And I landed in Flagstaff, Arizona in 1979, and I was 24 years old. And I had a job at a lumber yard. I got a job in the lumber yard, and I had an old pickup in a homemade camper, and I had my motorcycle in the back of the trailer, and I was traveling around, and we ended up with no gas, no money, in this town called Flagstaff. And so I finally ended up getting a job in a lumber yard, and there happened to be 5 Christians there. And now I got long hair, I'm burned out, I look like I'm older than really what I am. And I didn't like too many people that were really straight. I couldn't stand them because, they didn't speak my language.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I got a job in this lumber yard, and they started sharing their testimonies with me. And as they shared their testimonies with me, I said, well, listen, man, time out. I really appreciate you, but I'm here to work. I'm here to get some money, and I'm going to move on. And what they did was they invited me to church, and I thought, church? I don't want anything to do with church. So anyway, I ended up going to their church, long story short, and gave my life to Christ. I never touched another bottle, never touched another drug in that time. And when I got up off that altar, I was a changed individual. I was different. I can't explain it, but somebody touched me. And I had to find out about this somebody. And I didn't want to just take the preacher's word for it. So I went and got a Bible and I tried to read the Bible, but I couldn't read it because most of my life I was stupid. So why read? Why educate myself? And so I went down to the Bible bookstore and I got me a Bible there. It was a comic book Bible. It was like comic strips. And there was 2 in the Old Testament and 1 in the New Testament. And I didn't realize it, but I devoured those things. And I was beginning to teach myself how to read. And I thought to myself, you know what? I wonder if I could get and read a book. I wonder if I could read a book all the way through. And so I got me a book. I got me a pen and a pad. And I told my wife at the time, I said, I want you to stay out. I'm going to be in this room. I'm going to lock myself in this room. And I'm going to read this book. Every word I didn't understand, I underlined. Every word I didn't get, I underlined. Then I look at up in the dictionary, and it was a long process, right? And the first page was underlined all over the place because there were so many words I didn't understand. Because I didn't believe I was worthy enough, right, to enjoy what God had for me. And so what I did was, as I began to read and more, I just devoured books. And what was really interesting, when people came over to fellowship and break bread and that kind of stuff, I would grab a book and I would read to them. And I didn't care what they thought, but I was reading like, see Tim go in the house. And you could see the look on their face was like, what's wrong with you? I didn't care because I was so excited that I could read. And through that, as my life began to progress and change, and I really began to move in the direction that Christ had for me, one of the biggest things I think that changed my world is I was going to therapy, and she wasn't kind of a typical therapist, right? But one of the things that she said to me as I was in this therapy session was what she said. I want you to go home and I want you to look in the mirror. And when you see that person in the mirror, I want you to look eyeball to that person. And I want you to say, I love you. I laughed at her. I literally laughed at her because my self-image was so dark. I didn't look in the mirror. I brushed my teeth and I would always look away. I didn't never look in the mirror eyeball to eyeball because I didn't like that person right there. So even though I gave my life to Christ and God was doing just a phenomenal job in me, there was so much I had to change, right? It's just like layer after layer after layer. You don't just give your life to Christ and all of a sudden everything's happy-go-lucky, right? There's areas in your life and your self-image that are so dark and so hidden, and we've learned how to cover them up that we just leave them dormant until all of a sudden when you go to move and do something different, they come up and they go, "Rah, you ain't going anywhere."
Yep.
And so as I began to look in the mirror, she said, I want you to do it in the morning and I want you to do it in the evening. And she said, I want you to do it until you get it. She said, you're going to feel like a hypocrite. You're going to feel like a phony. You're going to feel like, what am I doing? And I did it. And she said, do it until you get it. Do it until you really understand how to love yourself. And so sure enough, I remember the first time, it was so awkward. I looked in the mirror and I made sure that nobody was listening, right? And I said, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, and it's called mirror work.
Yeah, mirror work. Yeah,
and a lot of people around the world have come to the consciousness of mirror work. And your story really reminds me of Brenda, because I remember when Brenda and we talked about her story, and she talked about, and I don't know, audience, if you was listening, she talked about jail.
Mm-hmm.
And Brenda, you and we've talked, and we talked about a lot of times you have to get out in front of things and you really have to face it. And that's what you were doing, Dean, when you really started looking yourself in the mirror, the eyes, the windows to your soul.
Yeah.
You looked in that mirror and you started telling the Dean inside.
Yeah.
That
little 5-year-old.
Yeah. And then for Brenda, What about you? Because I mean, Brenda, you were doing great. You had a phenomenal corporation, you had a
Mhm.
loving family, everything was going okay. But then something happened. And
Yeah.
so, before we really get into that, I know we've got a lot of folks coming in from all over the world. Let us know where you're coming in from. If you are just joining us, okay, if you are just joining us, I have the amazing pleasure to have my guest, Brenda Ringwood, here, and the amazing Mr. Dean Stroher here. And tonight we are talking about becoming the best you that you can be. And I get the privilege and pleasure and honor of having a lot of people on my show. And this is some secret sauce. But here's the thing. Although I have great guests all the time, some of my guests don't have this type of story. But a lot of my viewers have this type of story. But they need the encouragement. They need to know what you guys are sharing. And so tonight, if you're just jumping on, I always say note takers are money makers, because note takers that execute those notes are change makers. And so, Brenda, I'm going straight to you. I
You
want
know,
you to share a bit more about your story, if you would.
I became a believer at a young age as a young girl and raised military. So we traveled a lot. Me and my mom a lot, we were in and out of church. And then teenage years happened. And believe it or not, I don't touch alcohol or anything now, but I started drinking at the age of 13. And just that was my life. And I was that turned into that teenager that you hope your kid's never going to become, and fell away. And then ended up getting married and having babies, and stopped the drinking, started going back to church, rededicated my life, and just kind of got wrapped up in life. I wasn't focusing on my purpose. I wasn't focusing on what God wanted for me. And I really wasn't focusing on worshiping Him. I was worshiping everything but Him. And I got into some trouble because of that. And you tell your kids not to run with certain people, and I did the complete opposite. And I got involved with some people that I shouldn't, made some very poor decisions. Then I was diagnosed with cancer. And then instead of straightening up and saying, okay, God's trying to tell me something, I just got angry and my heart got hard, and I started even making more bad decisions. And I needed to change. And everything that I was doing, I had a great company, great family, great employees, great customers, clients, but I wasn't doing right by anybody. And when I say that, I worked hard, I delivered the contract, I did what I was supposed to be doing in everybody's eyes, but I was hiding from myself. I was hiding in my life. I was hiding behind that corporate front and behind those nice clients and behind my family life and my church life. And I wasn't really me.
Right. Being you.
Yeah, I wasn't me. And when I landed in a jail cell, and it was the only thing that was really going to bring me out of it. And God knew that. I mean, he had given me sign after sign after sign that I needed to wake up. And it gave me time to reevaluate what I had done wrong, why I was doing it wrong. And I just hated myself, and I hated the things that I had done. And it took me a good year, even sitting behind bars, before I would really truly repent and come to know everything that I had done, and I finally just accepted that. I had to learn to forgive myself. And I said, I'm not going to let this be a waste of my time. Literally, I'm not going to just sleep my life away like most of them do in here. And I started reading the Bible. I started applying that to my life. I was listening to about radio and Christian music, and reading everything I could get my hands on about my case, about spiritual growth, about spiritual warfare. And I found out that I was really fighting myself. I was fighting with the devil. I was fighting with everybody that was trying to make my life better, except for the devil. I was fighting with them because I was trying to hold on to something that wasn't real.
Right.
And when you do that, your life is just never going to be right. So I lost my light, but I got it back. And I didn't really lose it. I'm going to say it was just really dim. It was just really dim. It was kind of hidden under that bushel. And I got that light back. And I decided that I was not going to let this be a waste of time. I'm going to change. I owe it to my family. I owe it to myself. And that's what I did. And I reevaluated. And then when I came out, I went to everybody and said, I'd like to right some wrongs with you. You know, if you would meet with me, I'd like to, you know, apologize. I'd like to ask you for forgiveness. And some did, some didn't, some still haven't, but that door's always open. You know, I'm willing to do that because I don't want to have somebody say, oh, look at her now, but she didn't come back to me. Because one of the first steps in change is admitting that you're wrong, is admitting that you have a problem, and admitting that you need to focus on other things other than what you were doing. And for me to heal, I had to go and face all these people. And I did. And it was
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you. Because Dean, I don't know if you heard this, but I heard her say in my good ear, okay, because you know I wear a hearing aid in this ear. In my good ear, I heard her say she had to heal. And so you went through a time period where you were abusing drugs, you were abusing alcohol, and myself as a clinician working with people who have substance use disorder and mental illness and diagnosing them and putting them in different levels of treatment and care, there you have to heal yourself from that too, I would think. So what in her story kind of parallel to yours, and tell us why and how you were able to heal yourself?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing I heard her say is that you have to learn how to forgive yourself. And because, you know, it's really interesting is to be true to yourself and to be authentic. If you don't know who you are, how do you be true to yourself?
Yeah.
And so through that love, through that forgiveness, through that bitterness that she was talking about, that hardness, you know, when you walk away from God, or even before you even meet God, you know, I was hard. I was bitter at the world. And so that forgiveness just really changed everything as far as to really apply it, you know, to receive God's love and forgiveness, and then to turn around and forgive myself. You know, that's pretty difficult to do.
Yeah. So here's something that you brought up that she said too, is that her heart was hardened. She was angry. She was bitter. So to our audience, if you can resonate with what they're saying, I'd like you to put a number 4 in the comment block. But here's a question for you. Has your heart ever been hardened? And if it has, just say yes. And if you feel like it, share with us how it was hardened and what you did to overcome. And so we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back, and we're going right to Brenda, because I want to know what you did to overcome your heart that was hardened. Because let's face it, when we have a heart that's hardened, it's very, very difficult to open up the door of abundance because we close that off. So as long as our heart is hardened, we can't get to where we're going. So we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Hi, busy women leaders. I'm talking to you. Are you juggling your family, your business, your career, and your health? Afraid that if just one ball drops to the ground, everything could fall apart because everybody's looking at you. You're stressed and overwhelmed. You're looking for answers, for help that's real help, for solutions. I have Vibrant Life Solutions that can help you. I am Hillary Gooden, the Vibrant Life Coach, author, speaker, lymphologist, and pastor. I empower busy women leaders with strategies to reduce stress and anxiety while increasing energy, clarity of mind, better sleep, better health, and vitality. Oh yeah, and boost your immunity. If you're ready for that, you say, you know, I need that in my life right now. Let's connect. You can reach me at www.hillarygooden.com. You can direct message me on Facebook or LinkedIn at Hillary Gooden. Or else if you would like to get on a free 20-minute strategy call, a clarity call, go to bit.ly/Hillary Gooden. That's bit.ly/Hillary Gooden. I absolutely believe you got the power to help your body, help you live a more vibrant life.
Hello, hello, hello. I just had to jump on here and say a big thank you to Dr. Lotus for taking time out to invite me on her show. And let me tell you something. She said it very clear. Ignite and take flight in every part of your life. Thank you, Dr. Lotus. I appreciate all that you have done. And hey, if you want to get noticed, you got to get with Dr. Lotus. Stay blessed, stay safe, and stay absolutely fabulous. Ciao.
Thank you to our sponsors and to our show guests. Hey, and we're back. Welcome back to the LotusRiche Ignite Show. And of course, we're going right to you, our viewers. We love you. We appreciate you. And we want to know who's here. So let's look at who's here. We got Angela Elting from Washington, D.C. Hey, we have Tina Vizel. How you doing? Let us know where you're at. And guess what? She knows how to come in the house. She's tagged Sophia Rand, Janet Blackman, Deborah Bowman, Debbie Banner, and of course, Angela Elting. Let me say thank you, Tina, for doing that as well. We appreciate you. And Tina, let us know where you're coming in from. Angela Elting said, congratulations on your books, many books for that matter. Sophia Rand, welcome to the show. We're happy to see you here. And Angie says, it takes courage to change ourselves to make change. And so we're going to take a park break right here because we're going to Brenda. Because we said we were going to come back and talk about something. But guess what, viewers? We love you and we appreciate your comments and your questions. And it takes courage to change ourselves to make the change. So, Brenda, I'd like you to add some of that into answering the question. Woo, that's some secret sauce. She in the hot seat, y'all.
Absolutely. You know, I had to first recognize that I needed to change. I had to recognize that I was where I was because of my actions and nobody else's, and not blame anybody else. Take responsibility for everything myself. And then I had to make it real. You know, you can think about it and you can talk about it, but you got to do it.
Yes.
So what I started doing was journaling, and I would just start writing out my feelings and my thoughts and things that were going on around me. And then, you know, I would write about a conversation I had with somebody on the phone because that's the only way I could talk to my family and how that made me feel. And then other things would start popping up, this person or that person that I was thinking about. And it was all surfacing. Everything was just coming at me, and being able to write it down and then go back and look at it again later was huge because I didn't forget about it. And it was still there. It was staring at me because it was in writing, looking at me. And then I decided I was going to write a book at the same time. And it's not about me. I write fiction novels. And I was so angry when I first went in. I created all these characters in the book and just killed them all off. It's about a female serial killer. And she does. And she goes after people that wronged her. And that was my attitude when I went in. And then I went to write the sequel and my heart had changed. So the story in this book, because I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't upset anymore. I actually was at peace because I realized that I deserved the punishment that I was getting. I deserved everything that had happened to me because of my actions. And the only way that I was going to move forward through that was to truly change. And what happens when you want to do something? You find a way. If you don't want it, you're not going to, who cares, right?
Ooh.
Yep. So you really want it, you find a way. And I had to, it was years in the making. It wasn't just overnight. I sat in a jail cell for 4 years. And I was supposed to do 78 months. I got out in 44 months when my heart was ready. And God said, you've changed. I was at peace. I was okay where I was. Then uprooting came. I got let out. And now I had to go face the people that I had wronged. I had to go face the public. I had to go face my family. I couldn't hide anymore. You know, I was tucked away in a prison cell from reality. So now I healed that part of me. Now I'm out and I'm face to face with myself again. And now I got to do what I said I was going to do.
Yep.
And that was hard.
Yep.
And it took time for that. So then I decided, okay, you've done this. That's their problem now if they can't forgive you. You've forgiven yourself. You have forgiven the ones who have hurt you. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. You can't make other people do anything that they don't want to do. And when you accept that, you can either have a relationship with them or you can move on. And I just decided that's what I was going to do. I was going to try to repair relationships. If that didn't happen, I was going to move on. And then I said, you know what? You've had a lot of help along the way. You've had a lot of support. You need to do that for others, which is why we came up with doing the Becoming the Best You conference. Because if I wouldn't have had the help and the family support and some of the friendships that I had, I might still be sitting in that jail. I might not have ever came home to my family. And if I did come home, I might not have come home to the same family. You know, my husband could have left me. My kids could have not talked to me. My parents could have disowned me. There's so many things that could happen, but it didn't. I had that love and support. And the very thing that I thought I was trying to get, I had all along. I had my priorities wrong.
Yeah. Once
you put your priorities in order and you find that true purpose and you heal from whatever you've had in if it's abuse, if it's unhappiness, if it's low self-esteem, whatever it is that's causing you to not find your purpose and to do what you really want to do in life, you need to look deep inside and then find a way to get past that. And like I said, journaling was a big thing for me. And then I sent it home and I let my family read. So now it's no longer private.
Right.
It's out.
Right. You know, I wanted to share something, if I may, because I saw this on Wayfair, and you and I, we've had a long discussion about your story, and it really touched me. And I want to see if I can pull this up from Wayfair, because this is what you were really saying. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. And the first to forget is the happiest, because you can't keep beating yourself up over and over and over again for the shortcomings that you made. Because here's the fact. What Dean did when he was on drugs and alcohol is different from what the Dean is doing now. I said the Dean, right? From what he's doing now. But if he stayed there, right, Dean? If you stayed there, how would it be for you? So we're gonna shift. If when Brenda's done, we're gonna shift, and then we're gonna put Dean in the hot seat.
Well, for me, forgiving others was huge, because you think that you have to go in and they have to come and ask you for forgiveness, and you have to go and ask them for forgiveness. And that's really not true. You can forgive somebody if they've never come back into your life again. And when you do that, you are free. Your thoughts, they were consuming my mind. I would go to bed at night thinking about these people and, everything that they had done to me. And instead of looking at, well, why did they do that? I mean, what did I do to them that maybe caused them to act that way out to me? Yeah. And I just realized, I'm going to forgive them and I'm going to move on. And true forgiveness, when I see that person, I want to hug them. I don't want to walk away or run from them or
Yes.
never see them again. I want to hug them because I've truly forgiven them. If they want that relationship back, great. It's there. If they don't, I understand. But you can forgive others even if they haven't asked you for it. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave
Wow.
it there.
Dean, I wouldn't want to have to follow that because she did a mic drop for real. I would drop this mic, Dean, but this, I dropped it before we came on the show. And see, that goes to show you something, folks. I'm gonna share some secret sauce with you. Before we came on, we had some technical challenges. My cord wouldn't work. All kinds of stuff happened. But that's how I know when the show is going to be so explosive and when it's going to really change some lives. And all my shows change lives. All my shows are great shows. I love all of my guests that come on. Yet I knew there was something. And so now that something is going right over into Dean's lap because he's in the hot seat. So Dean, what are your thoughts about the forgiveness paradigm, the hardening of the heart, and making the change that's needed? And if there's no change in sight for you to put your hands on, you got to make that change. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, it literally took a jackhammer God had to take a jackhammer, and my heart was so hard
Wow.
because I didn't like myself, and I didn't love myself, and I kind of hated who I was because of, I was like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When I was straight, I was a good guy.
Right.
When I was drunk and when I was doing drugs, I turned into this person that was not me, right? But it was me. And so we have choices. We have choices that we have to make. Where everything that you have, everything that I have, everything that Brenda has, everything that our car, our house, our clothes, your show, my coaching, we created it. I created my world, right? I created the fact that because of choices, I decided to go towards coaching and wanting to help people, but yet I had to get that heart right. I had to get my heart right. I had to get that forgiveness right before I could really move to that next level. And for me to help somebody else, I had to change a lot that was inside of me. And so, when you follow yourself around, it's really hard to get rid of that old person. But yeah, it's powerful when you begin to melt, if you will. What's really cool is we sit and watch movies, and I cry at movies now. And for a guy to cry at movies, normally you're hiding and you're doing one of these numbers and stuff. But to me, that just kind of shows me that the older I get, the more I stay on this journey, the softer my heart gets.
Exactly.
The more I can give of myself, and the more I'm really giving of God, because God can fill me up where that hardness and that unforgiveness, he didn't have room enough to come in.
Right.
And so I get rid of that, and then God just fills me up to overflowing. And it's like, you just want to keep doing it. You just want to find somebody else who you can help.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. So look, folks, I know we've got a lot of you out there and we're going to acknowledge you. And I know you guys have got to be loving my guest tonight, Mr. Dean Stroher, and of course, the amazing author, speaker, trainer, lovely lady, my friend, Brenda Wood. And so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back from the break, we're going to go right back to our viewers and acknowledge the rest of you that have been so wonderful hanging out with us tonight. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right. I love it. Y'all see us? Don't we look cute? We're not.
Yeah.
Reach me at www.hillary.
It's time for you to start bossing in social media. For all your social media needs, you come to the right place at the right time to get your website designed, landing page, social media platforms, and get the training you need to get in front of the people that's ready to buy your products and services. Let me train you with StreamYard, Zoom, Clubhouse, and much more. And let me help you get your virtual professional. Not assistants, because assistants can only assist you, but the virtual professional can give you that professional flavor that you need to expand your reach and increase your revenue. Jump on in and get in where you fit in and start boxing today. Thank you for watching the show. And remember, always follow us on Facebook. Like and share, and make sure you tag a friend and let them know that you care. Let us know what other type of shows you'd like us to present for you. Wow, we're super duper lucky, I tell you. So let's go right to our folks, because we got so many people streaming in, and we didn't get to say hi to everybody. So hey, Sophia Rand, we see you. Angela, thanks again for everything. And I asked the folks to send you guys some love, and so we got some L's in the comment. Tina Ezel, she says she is from South Florida. So happy to have you. Sophia is all the way from Brooklyn, and blessings to you. And I said, put a D in the S in the comment for Dean. That's right. It's there. All right. And she says, so nice to see you. All right. And of course, we got a Facebook user clapping it up for us. Hello, hello. And we have got folks. Wow. Keybird. She says, hello, Miss Brenda Ringwood. How you doing? And then all the way from Virginia, we have Miss Phyllis Weaver. Thank you for being here. She said, what an awesome testimony, Mr. Stewart. You are an inspiration. And yes, you are. Both of you are. And we got Corey Fox in the house tonight. Hey there. He's saying hey to Brenda. He's saying hey to Dean. And of course, we have none other than Mrs. Charlene Sparks, the woman of Women with Vision. She said, awesome testimonies. Charlene Sparks in from Greensboro, North Carolina. All right. I love it. I love it. It is amazing. Becoming the best you can be. Now, someone threw out there forgiveness. And we're going to talk about forgiveness. And I know the top of the hour has gotten here so quickly, and we're going to be jumping off soon, but not before we talk about forgiveness. Why it's so important. One, to forgive yourself first, then you can forgive someone else. Because let's face it, even Ayala Van Zandt, she talked about in her book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. She talked about that we forgive people, not for them, but for ourselves. Because when we don't forgive people, guess what? We are the ones that are bound. And so I want to say hi to Marie Conte all the way in Virginia. Good to see you. And Phyllis said, yes, that has happened to me during a difficult marriage. So, Mr. Stir and Miss Brenda, you are ringing some bells in some people's lives because they can identify with you guys. And so I want to take this comment from Miss Charlene Sparks. She said, I agree. A hardened heart cuts off the flow of blessings. I believe we all have been attacked by the spirit at some point, and we have to win, to fight spiritually to win this battle. We win. And then, Dean, somebody is working double duty. Somebody is working double duty. So, Brenda, you're working double duty. So let's get right into the forgiveness key. Let's talk about the forgiveness key. And then once we talk about the forgiveness key, I want to leave our viewers with what's coming up in Kansas. Yes. So I'm going right to you first, Brenda, and then pass the baton off to Dean when we talk about forgiveness, and then let's go right into the event because we've got some secret sauces. And then, guys, everybody want to know about your books. How can they get them? Where are they? They want autographed books from you guys. And so now that I've put you in the hot seat, Brenda?
All right. Well, God forgives us. So we need to remember that we need to forgive others as quickly as we expect God to forgive us.
Yes.
Because without that forgiveness, life would be miserable. Could you imagine a fight in your marriage that you could just never forgive each other? What living like that would be like? You would just, the wall would be up. You might as well have separate bedrooms and separate houses for that matter. So forgiveness is key in any relationship. But you gotta look at yourself first. You got to forgive yourself so you can move forward. When I first came back to the real world, as I put it, I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to go out in public. I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want to be asked questions. And I had to get over that because what I had just went through
Mm-hmm.
was making me who I'm becoming. And then as another year goes by, I realized that I did have a purpose and a value and a worth, and I could do something. I could use that experience to help myself, to keep me being accountable, and then to also help others. So it's a growth process, and you can't expect it to happen overnight. I've said that already, but it can happen. Just take it little tiny bits at a time. Like Dean said, God had to chip away and chip away and chip away. And that's kind of what you do for yourself as well. You just start peeling stuff back. And the more you peel back, the more you're going to see. And the more you see, the more you need to do. And the more you do, the more you're going to change. And once you reach that and you get to the raw core of you, now you're ready. Now you're ready to heal and move on.
That's awesome. And Phyllis Weaver said, Miss Brenda, thank you for sharing. She said, knowing when to move on is the key. Forgive yourself and others. I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
And so, with that being said, I'm going to kick it over to you, Dean. You got the floor. What are your thoughts?
Okay. There's a great quote that that I use, and it says, "Pain results in a judgment of a thing. Remove the pain, and the judgment disappears."
Mm.
Pain results in a judgment of a thing. Remove the judgment, and the pain disappears. So it's like when you take that forgiveness and you begin to really forgive yourself, like Brenda was saying, or get down to the raw, because you have to think about the cocoon and the butterfly. I mean, we've heard that story a million times, right? That the caterpillar gets in there and he makes that web and everything else, and he closes himself in there. And then when the butterfly that metamorphosis is happening, it to the butterfly itself, it has to be a struggle. It has to force itself out and break through that thing, because that's the only way that blood can get to the wings so it can fly. It has to, the struggle of that breaking out of that cocoon. And so the old us is the cocoon. We're the caterpillar. And so as you forgive yourself and you forgive others and you really move on, what happens is it's really good to the raw part of us, and it seems like a real struggle. But when you break through, that's when you can take flight. If you were to help that butterfly, it would drop to the ground.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the butterfly ignites and takes flight.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Y'all didn't know he was coming that strong with that secret sauce. That was a mic drop. They just dropping mics all in the studio. I don't know. They're just dropping mics. So with that being said, I really love the quote that you used by Neil Donald Walsh. And we have to look past the pain, and we really have to stop judging ourselves so that we can really forgive ourselves. And we had Dr. Sabeda Singh. She made a very, very interesting comment, and I want to bring it up if I may, before we get ready to close. And thank you, Miss Marie Conte. She said, "Powerful story indeed." And yes, they're no joke. Dr. Sabeda said, liberate yourself from mental slavery. Forgiveness breaks those shackles.
Mm.
Forgiveness breaks those shackles. So I would say to all of our viewers out there, if you're tired of being shackled by the pain, by the woes, by mistakes that you made, you have to forgive yourself first. And Miss Tina said, wow, amazing. Maybe the sequel to your book, Brenda, is it can be that the young lady in the book had a Saul of Damascus experience. She
Yeah.
repented, got saved, and was no longer a murderer.
Get out of my mind, Tina. Get out of my mind.
Awesome, awesome, awesome,
Yes.
awesome, fantastic. All right, fantastic. So, with that being said, we're going to jump right into what's getting ready to go on coming soon to a place near you. This is going to be a phenomenal event, overcoming challenges and just doing the best that you can do with your life. So, Brenda, tell us a bit about what's getting ready to go down.
You know, I thought about people in general, and I used to go to a lot of conventions and events and stuff in the corporate world, and I hated it. I just hated it because they were always the same. It was
Yes.
always about how to sell your business or how to get more sales or how to do this, how to do that. But it never addressed the you. It never addressed what you want. You know, I had Remax franchises. I always went to Remax conventions. So it was
Yes.
always about real estate, you know, or there are conventions about helping yourself as well. But I thought that people needed to connect with different speakers that have experienced loss, tragedy, self-doubt, just anything that changed them to be that they were stuck, that they couldn't move forward, that it changed them to just hide like I was doing. I'm stuck. I got to stay in this job because I have a mortgage payment. I'm stuck because my spouse isn't going to agree with me. I'm stuck because I don't think I make enough money that I can change my job or go out and do my own business. So I thought, let's put a bunch of people together that have these same problems, people who have lost their jobs, people who have lost a kid, people who have been incarcerated and turned themselves around, people who want to write that book and did, you know, and hear their stories. And let's put it together in a convention, because if you can change you and you're inside, then you can do anything. You can do whatever job you want to do. You can have the right relationships with the right people, and you can live a happy life. And that's what this convention is about. It's about helping you to move forward, to overcome whatever challenge that you have. On the virtual conference, we have over 30 people with everybody's got a different story. Everybody has a different style. We have breakouts, we have some music, we have a comedian, we have all kinds of things that are going to just rock your world. And that's November 5th through the 7th. Friday night's free. It's free. No credit card needed. Just go to comechangeyourlife.com, register for the Sneak Peek Friday virtual event. And if you like what you see, you can pay for Saturday and Sunday. Right now, it's only $59. It might be a little more come time to do it. So you might want to go ahead and get that ticket now. $59 to invest in yourself. I'm telling you, these speakers, they're just going to help you promote that change in your life. They're going to spark you to create that fire, get you cooking. That's what you want. And then in February, we're going to do it again, but it's going to be in person in Overland Park, Kansas. We're going to feed you. You're going to have one-on-one time with speakers in a classroom that you can pick out in the breakout sessions. Lotus and Dean are both going to be there. You can connect and hear and let it sink in to what you need to do to get to where you need to be. Find that purpose. We're going to develop you. We're going to change that mindset. We're going to help you grow in 3 days. And when you walk out of there, if you're not changed, it's because you didn't pay attention.
Yep.
And if you don't need to change, then don't come. But I'm telling you, everybody needs to change. Everybody. And I tell people, you know, I'm not better than anybody else, but I am better than the person that I used to be. And I got to do that every day. Change happens daily. It is a war. And I'm going to win this war one day at a time.
That's awesome. And so, Dean, what are your thoughts before we show our folks about the virtual event?
Yeah, this is going to be dynamic as far as the speakers and the different. It's going to be a place where there's so many different types of food or so many different types of people that you're going to learn from, and I'm excited to go and be a part of it, just to hear the other speakers too, and to change my life and move to that next level. So it's going to be a phenomenal time. I've been to a lot of events and different things like what Brenda was saying, and it's a lot of success and corporate and this and that. But to put together a bunch of speakers like this that can really move into a place to really help people move to that next level, it's going to be, just think about the atmosphere and the energy that's going to be in the room. There's going to be healing presence right there. There's going to be healing in the fact that if you got a heart that hurts and broke, I mean, God's going to heal you right as you walk in and help you as we take these 3 days and just really work together and help each other. It's going to be fantastic.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. And we see Maxine Egbubuzi, Shelton, all the way from Canada. And of course, Shannon Mitchell, great to see you here. And like Brenda said, comechangeyourlife.com. You got to click there. You got to go there, because Tina said herself, spiritual warfare is no joke. And we're not joking with you. We want to show so much love, so much support. So we want to show this to you. Be sure to join us at all of the upcoming virtual events hosted by Brenda Ringwood, along with her associates and team, as they help you overcome your challenges to become the best you that you can be. Because after all, you can overcome your challenges. And get ready to see dynamic speakers, trainers, coaches from all around the world. I heard Dean Story's going to be there too. And so you definitely want to see him there. Maybe he'll even play his harmonica. Dr. LotusRiche, she'll be there. Speaking, helping you overcome challenges too. So, with no further ado, we're going to get right back to you and say, go ahead and jump on in, because powerful people telling real life stories, and they overcame, and you can overcome too. Awesome. Wow. So, with no further ado, I want to take this time for our final words of wisdom from our amazing guests that have been with us this evening. And so, Brenda, I'll let you decide if you're going to put Dean in the hot seat first, or if you're going to be in the hot seat first.
Oh, come on, ladies first.
I agree.
I just want to tell you guys this. $59 is nothing for what you're going to get. And right now, the in-person tickets are only $239. And that's 5 meals and 3 days worth of wonderful, wonderful speakers and some great talent that's going to be there as well.
Right.
But what are you going to do about your life right now? What are you going to do to change, to get you where you need to be, where you want to be? Because if you're not willing to do anything, then quit complaining. If you want to change, go get these tickets or reach out to somebody. Start journaling. Start reading the Bible. Start reading some self-help books. Start doing something that's going to help you get out of that situation that you're in.
Exactly. And Brenda, I want to know, where is it posted? Can they go to your Brenda Ringwood page? Where do they go?
if you just want to order the book, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it, pretty much Barnes and Nobles, Lawrence Bookstore. But if you want an autographed copy, just come to my website at Things by Bren, or send me through Messenger at Facebook at Brenda Ringwood, or LinkedIn at Brenda Ringwood, and talk to me there, and I'll get your address and stuff, and we can do there. And for those of you who are watching right now, put in the comments, I'll email you a free ebook. I'll send you a free ebook. Then my book about my story is going to be called When the Truth Hunts You Down, and that'll be out in February, and you'll be able to get that at the event.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So make sure you go to her page, Things by Bren. You can go to Brenda Ringwood and just jump right in. And don't forget, get your tickets. They're only $59.99.
Not even the 99, just 59.
So make sure you grab your ticket. So where do they need to go to grab their ticket, Brenda?
They can go to comechangeyourlife.com, and you got to register. You register for the sneak peek virtual, and then they'll send you a code where you can watch, and then you can, if you like it, you can sign up for Saturday and Sunday. But why wait? Because it's probably going to be maybe $79 by the time it gets here. So go ahead and get that ticket for $59. It's going up.
It's going to be sold out is what it's going to be.
It is. So go get that ticket. Yeah. And you're going to be able to come back and watch it later. So if you can't see it all, you can come back and watch other parts of it later, where you won't be able to do that if you don't get that ticket for $59. So go on and get it.
Yep. And so go right there and show that you care. And so our final words of wisdom, Brenda, we're going right to you. Tell them what to do.
I'm going to ask you again, who's ruling your kingdom? Are you ruling it? Do you need to change to do that? Where are your priorities at in life? What is it you really want to do in life? And are you happy? If you are, great. But you know what? You can always be happier, and you can always be better. So what are you doing about it? What are you doing to change your life? Go get those tickets. Comechangeyourlife.com.
Awesome. She did another mic drop. She just did another mic drop.
She is a hard act to follow.
Yeah, I would not want to have give some secrets. I would not want to have to go after her. She's like, come change your life. So, Dean, I don't have to go next, but you do it. And I'm looking at the big screen because I'm looking at the expression like, he's going to follow that and watch them do so phenomenal. Dean, what are your final words of wisdom for tonight?
Well, one of the things I think is really important to understand is that we don't do it by ourselves. If we're going to change, if you've been doing it by yourself and you're trying to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, they're going to keep breaking to where you won't be able to tie your shoes. And you got to understand it takes us all to link arms together to be in an environment to where we can really move to that next level. And even after you come to the event, there's going to be coaches there. There's going to be people there that can help you, that you can sign up for their trainings and their coaching sessions and stuff. And you can meet them personally, and you have a chance to where you can pick and choose who really speaks to you. There's three things that you think about. Three things I want you to think about as you leave tonight. Number one, what do you want? What is it that you truly want? Number two, who are you? Who are you? Who's Dean Storr? Who's Brenda? Who's Lotus? Who are you? And when you begin to answer those questions, so when you think about what you want, who you are, and where are you going, the direction in your life. So I would really encourage you just to hook up and join us during this virtual and join us during the live event. It'll be good. It's going to be great.
All right. Fantastic. I love it. So I just want to thank both of you. And look, I got some final words of wisdom too. And I'm looking that way, but because I'm looking at the big screen, looking at them. But listen, tonight we've had a wonderful time. And like they said, the tickets are only $59. But here's the thing. You being in the midst will help you answer those questions that Dean just asked. What do you want in your life? What do you want? Not want. What do you want? Because things probably have went away, but they don't have to. Once you decide what you really want, understand who you are, understand where you're going, guess what? You can really find your way to change. But like Brenda said, you got to write it down, journal it, because the journaling will help to bring you peace, and learn to forgive yourself. If you do nothing else in this life, if you start off trying to forgive yourself, look what Dean did. He gave his life to God and it changed his life forever. And that is a part of why we decided to do this topic tonight. Becoming the best you that you can be. All of us have fallen short of the glory of God. But guess what? Who's ruling your kingdom and why? It's time for you to rule your kingdom. It's time for you to have the happiness you want. Because after all, success is about your happiness. So, with no further ado, I want to say to each and every.
Well, guys, I was looking for my crown. I usually put a crown on, but I can't find it. I must have left it upstairs. So put your crown on. Put your crown on and rule your kingdom.
That's right. Put your crown on and rule your kingdom. And until we meet again, make sure you join us for our upcoming event, only $59. Don't wait, don't debate, and wait too late, because it's time for you to get your life and your own business straight. So we've got some folks saying, wow, awesome job. Hey, thank you so much. Good night, Lotus, Riche, and guests. Time to get ready for work. Thank you, Angela Hansford, coming in all the way from New Jersey. Fantastic, fabulous show. And guess what? I think we got a book sold. So there you go. Thank you so much, Tina. And she'll get that book right off to you. So with no further ado, again, we thank you, and make sure to check us out next time. Have a good night. And remember to ignite and keep light in every area of the wonderful life. You get those. I love it. Thank you for watching the show, and be sure to follow us on Instagram. Like and share, and let us know that you care. Also, let us know what other type of shows you'd like us to present just for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.